There is a sacred intelligence guiding your life. Even when you cannot feel it, even when you do not see it, even when your world feels like it's unraveling thread by thread, it is there in the silence between thoughts, in the stillness behind your breath, in the whisper of intuition that you have been taught to doubt. This invisible current, this unseen presence is not outside of you. It is not something to summon or attain. It is what you are made of. But to trust what you cannot see. That is the invitation. That is the surrender. We have been conditioned to bow to the visible, to worship the tangible, to believe only what can be measured and proven. And yet, all that truly matters, the love that moves you to tears, the presence that softens your anxiety, the knowing that rises in your chest like the sun after a storm. None of it can be held in your hands, and yet it holds you. None of it can be defined, and yet it defines your life. The soul does not traffic in evidence. It moves in trust. It asks you to walk through the fog without needing to see the entire path. To leap from the edge of your old life, not because you know where you will land, but because something deeper in you says, it's time. When you were a child, you did not need proof to believe in the magic of existence. You felt it in the wind. You danced with it in your dreams. You trusted without needing to understand. But slowly the world taught you to doubt what cannot be seen, to measure your worth, to demand guarantees, to believe only in outcomes. And with that shift, you began to trade your knowing for knowledge, your wonder for worry, your sacred mystery for mental certainty. And so now I ask you to return, not backward in time, but inward in truth. Return to that part of you that still remembers the part that doesn't need to control life in order to trust it, that doesn't need to see the entire picture to feel guided by an unseen hand. The taking, says the toe, that can be named is not the eternal Tao. What is eternal cannot be boxed, labeled, or seen with the physical eyes. It must be felt, lived, trusted. It must be allowed to lead you like a river leading a leaf, not with force but with flow. You are not here to figure it all out. You are here to let go of the belief that you must. You see, what is unseen is not unknowable. It is just ungraspable. Like the wind, like love, like grace, it cannot be captured, only experienced. And when you surrender your need for certainty, what rushes in to replace it is peace. The kind of peace that doesn't depend on answers. The kind of peace that doesn't vanish when the world shakes. Trust is not passive. It is an act of fierce alignment. Is the soul saying, even here, even now, even when I don't know how, it is well with my being. Trust is not blind. It sees with the eyes of the heart, with the wisdom of the eternal, with the knowing that you are never alone. Not for a single breath. You were not abandoned in this world. You were born from it, sustained by it, woven into its mystery like stars into the night sky. And though you may forget, you are always being held. When life appears to fall apart, when the plans collapse, the doors close, the people walk away, this is not life turning against you. This is life reshaping you. This is the unseen aligning you with something you would never choose from the smallness of your fear, but will one day bow to with gratitude. And if you were to pause just for a moment and breathe and ask yourself not what you fear, but what you know deep down, you would remember you have always been led. The delays, the detours, the darkness, they were never punishments. They were pivots, redirections back to the path your soul chose long before your mind was old enough to form a thought. There are forces at play within you that your logic cannot comprehend. There is a divine rhythm to your life. And when you stop insisting that it follow your timeline, you begin to hear the music again. You begin to feel the guidance in your bones, in your breath, in the gentle tug of intuition saying this way. Even if it makes no sense, especially if it makes no sense. You were never meant to see it all. You were meant to feel your way, to allow your path to be revealed not through planning, but through presence. The oak tree does not panic because it cannot see the sky. It simply grows, and so must you. Let yourself grow even in the darkness. Let yourself trust even when you're afraid. Let yourself be guided even when you feel lost, because you are not lost. You are in the unfolding, and the unfolding is sacred. Then come with me deeper, now beyond the grasp of the eyes and the limitations of the intellect, into the realm where all things are first created, not in form but in vibration. In this unseen dimension, you are not separate from your desires. You are not apart from your calling. You are not waiting for something to arrive. You are dissolving what keeps it hidden. For all that you long for is already circling within you like clouds circling the mountaintop, waiting for the stillness to settle before they reveal the summit. To trust what you cannot see is not to abandon reason. It is to rise above it. It is to recognize that reason has its place in the world of machines and measurement. But the soul belongs to the infinite. The soul is not bound by time or space or history. It knows nothing of limitation. It exists beyond the veil of form, and it speaks in symbols, in sensations, in silence. When you feel drawn to something with no logical explanation, that is the whisper of the infinite calling you home. And yet the mind protests. It fears the unknown. It clings to what is predictable, even if it brings no joy. It would rather stay in the safety of a familiar cage than step into the vastness of freedom. But freedom does not come with guarantees. It comes with trust, with the quiet courage to walk the path your feet were made for, even when that path disappears beneath you with every step you take. There is no roadmap for the soul. There is only the compass of your heart. And that compass does not point north. It points inward toward love, toward authenticity, toward the sacred yes that rises from within you before you even understand what it means. And oh, how often we wait for clarity, wait for permission, wait for signs written in the sky. But life is not waiting for you to be ready. Life is waiting for you to say yes. Yes to uncertainty, yes to intuition, yes to the unseen support that has been guiding you all along, like the roots of a tree that hold the earth together though no one sees them. Trust is not about knowing how the story ends. It is about knowing who you are in the middle of it. It is about anchoring yourself in the unshakable truth that you are a being of divine origin and that nothing that unfolds in your life is ever separate from that divine plan. Even your doubts are sacred. Even your fears have a place in the unfolding because they too will teach you how to choose love over and over again until love is no longer a choice but your natural state. The unseen is not empty. It is alive. Vibrant, teeming with the intelligence that spins galaxies and sings the seasons into being. And that same intelligence is what breathes you. It is what dreams through you. It is what places impossible visions in your heart, not to torment you, but to remind you of what you came here to birth. So when the path is unclear, when the fog thickens, when the answers hide themselves and the world seems to close in, do not panic. Do not rush. Do not force. Instead, lean back not into logic, but into presence. Lean back into the knowing that you are being held by something far more vast than your five senses can detect. Let go of needing to predict. Let go of needing to plan every step. Let go of the illusion that you must earn the right to be guided. You are already being guided. You have always been guided. The question is not whether the signs are there. The question is, are you quiet enough to receive them? You see, trust does not bloom in noise. It blossoms in the fertile silence of surrender, when you stop trying to fix the moment and begin to feel it. When you stop trying to escape the mystery and begin to merge with it. That is where the light enters not as a flash, but as a gentle unfolding, not through answers, but through awareness. So rest now not in passivity, but in receptivity. Trust is not inactivity. It is the most profound form of participation. It says, I am here. I am open. I am aligned with something I may never fully comprehend. And yet I choose to walk as if it were already done. Because it is in the field beyond what you can see, beyond what you can name. Your becoming is already complete. Your joy is already blooming. Your path is already paved in gold, and the more you surrender into this sacred unknown, the more the unseen becomes felt, the more the invisible becomes undeniable, and the more you realize you were never waiting for the universe. The universe was always waiting for you. Then keep walking slowly, gently, as if each step is a prayer whispered into the earth. Walk as one who remembers that nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal can endure. Walk not in haste but in reverence. For the path you are on was etched into the fabric of existence before your body ever knew breath. It is not a mistake. It is not a detour. It is the precise thread in the tapestry of your becoming. And though it wends through shadow, though it curves beyond what the eye can follow, it is holy. You are not here to map the stars. You are here to follow the pull of gravity within your own soul. You are not the observer of some external order. You are the order. You are the pattern. You are the pulse. And the moment you begin to trust what you cannot see, you awaken to the realization that you are not separate from the universe. You are a unique expression of it. Everything you seek is encoded within your being, not in the mind, which analyzes and doubts, but in the soul, which knows and trusts. The soul is not concerned with how or when. It doesn't ask for reassurance. It doesn't bargain. It simply listens to the rhythm of the eternal and responds in kind. Its currency is presence. Its language is resonance. And when something moves you for reasons you cannot explain, that is your soul answering the call of the infinite. There is nothing more powerful than alignment with what you cannot yet articulate, for that is the birthplace of all miracles. Faith is not wishful thinking. Faith is the sacred act of planting seeds without needing to see the garden. It is dancing when no music is playing simply because you trust that the melody is coming. It is choosing to live from your deepest truth, even when the world applauds your performance instead. And yes, the world will test this. It'll ask you to betray your knowing in exchange for approval. It will offer you comfort in exchange for your voice. But you did not come here to be agreeable. You came here to be authentic. You came here to walk the invisible bridge between this world and the one your heart remembers. And every time you choose trust over control, presence over panic, surrender over certainty, you build that bridge a little further. There is a place within you that is never doubted, never feared, never forgotten. A still point beneath the chaos, like the quiet eye at the center of a storm. And it is from that place that your power rises, not as domination, not as perfection, but as presence. The presence of someone who knows they are supported by something vast and wise and eternal. The presence of someone who no longer needs to grasp because they are held, who no longer needs to run because they are already home. And home, oh beloved soul, home is not a destination on the map. Home is the awareness of your own enoughness. It is the recognition that you are not lost. You are becoming. You are not late. You are being prepared. You are not broken. You are being broken open. The sacred rarely reveals itself in straight lines. It comes in spirals and loops and echoes. It arrives through dreams, through tears, through the ache of longing that refuses to be numbed. Trust that ache. It is holy. It is the compass pointing you toward the invisible horizon where your truest life waits. Not as a reward, but as a remembrance. And when you stand at the edge of what is known, do not shrink. Do not retreat. Do not ask for the winds to calm or the seas to part. Instead, breathe, lift your eyes, spread your arms, and say, even here, I trust. Not because it is easy, not because you have certainty, but because something deeper than reason is alive in you. Because the voice beneath the noise, the voice that sounds like love without needing words, has never led you astray. It may have led you through fire, but it never left you burned. It may have stripped you of what you thought you needed, but it never took what you truly are. And now you are ready, not because you have all the answers, but because you have finally stopped needing them. You are ready to live not from fear, but from flow, not from protection, but from power, not from logic, but from love. Then let the next breath be a threshold soft, sacred, and infinite, where you step not forward, but inward. For all journeys, no matter how grand or distant, ultimately lead here to the quiet sanctuary within your chest, where the eternal has always lived, disguised as your heartbeat. This is where destiny whispers, not as commands etched in stone, but as stirrings too subtle for words, as echoes of a truth that precedes every question. And it is here, in this hallowed space of stillness, that trust is not cultivated, it is remembered. Like a melody you've heard before, this life, a feeling you cannot name but instinctively bow to. You have not arrived at this moment by accident. The pain that brought you here, the doubts that chased you, the dreams that refused to die, they were not diversions from your path. They were the path. Life has always spoken to you, not in shouts, but in sighs. It has not punished you with detours. It has called you back from forgetfulness. Every closed door was not rejection. It was redirection. Every ending was not death. It was a clearing for what needed space to arrive. And the invitation has always been the same. Let go of what is visible and fall in love with what is true. The visible will change. It will decay. It will applaud you one day and abandon you the next. But the unseen is faithful. The unseen does not perform. It does not diminish when you doubt it, nor does it inflate when you praise it. It simply is steady, silent, present, like the roots of an ancient tree that bears storms with grace, like the sky that receives both light and darkness without resistance. You were born of this unseen energy, not as a mistake, not as a fluke, but as a precise expression of the infinite, a wave temporarily forgetting it is the ocean. You are not here to collect evidence of your worth. You are here to embody it, not through striving, but through being, not by adding to yourself, but by peeling back everything you are not. And so many of us wear the mask so long we forget there is a face beneath it. We perform certainty while carrying the achy of confusion. We chase clarity like a possession, not realizing it arrives only when we stop needing to possess it. The mind wants control, the soul wants communion, and communion cannot happen in noise. It cannot happen in haste. It begins in stillness, and it is sustained by trust. To live this way is not for the faint-hearted. It requires the courage to disappoint expectations, to walk away from the familiar, to listen to a voice within that no one else may hear. It requires you to stand in rooms where your truth is not mirrored, and to bless the silence instead of filling it with the sound of compromise. It means surrendering your timelines, your formulas, your bargaining, and replacing them with presence. Presence is the portal. It is the altar where you meet the unseen again and again, not as a concept, but as a friend, a companion, a sacred partner in this wild dance of form and formlessness. And from this place you begin to see differently. What once felt like obstacles now feel like initiations. What once triggered your defenses now opens your compassion. What once seemed like delays now appear as divine orchestration because your lens has changed. And when the lens changes, the entire world follows. Trust does not demand that the mountain move. It asks you to see the mountain not as a threat, but as a mirror. What does it show you? What parts of you rise in fear before it? What ancient stories whisper that you are not enough, not ready, not worthy? These are not your truths. These are echoes of voices that forgot their own divinity long ago. And now you are here not to repeat them, but to release them. You do not have to fight your way forward. You do not have to convince life to bless you. You are already blessed because you are already breath, already being, already here. The very fact that you exist means you are worthy of the unseen support that shapes all things. And the moment you stop demanding signs, you start becoming one. Be the sign. Be the one who trusts without needing to see the finish line. Be the one who dances even when the room is empty. Be the one who moves not because the path is clear, but because the soul has spoken. And as you move, let that motion be devotion. Let every step say, I remember who I am. I remember who walks with me. I remember that what I see is only a fragment of the fullness, and I trust that the same force that paints the sky in colors no artist can replicate also painted me. With intention, with love, with purpose. You are not wandering, you are being led. Then listen not with your ears, but with your being. Listen beneath the surface of your thoughts, beneath the hum of your mind's restless need to solve and structure. There, in the quiet layers of your awareness, you will hear the guidance that never left you. You will feel it not as noise, but as presence, not as pressure, but as peace. And it will not push you. It will not threaten. It will not shout. It will invite. This is how the unseen moves, like breath through an open window, like sunlight on closed eyelids, like the memory of a truth you forgot you knew. It waits for you not with impatience, but with eternal patience. It never withdraws its light, only waits for you to turn toward it. And when you do, there is no punishment, no reprimand, only the sacred whisper, welcome back. To trust what you cannot see is to live as if your life is a sacred partnership, not a solo performance. It is to walk each day in communion with the invisible, to let the mystery of life become your mentor. And in doing so, you do not lose control. You surrender to something far more intelligent than control. You surrender to flow. Flow does not mean passivity. It means movement and harmony. It means allowing yourself to be carried where the current knows to go, even if it does not match the destination you had drawn on your mental map. You are not here to dominate the river. You are here to become water, to bend, to trust, to shimmer in the sunlight, to reflect the heavens even while touching the earth. Your dreams, those unshakable visions that visit you in silence and stillness, do not arise from fantasy. They are not arbitrary. They are the language of your soul, speaking of what is already yours in another dimension of reality. Trusting the unseen means believing in those dreams more than you believe in your doubts. It means tending to them like seeds, not demanding they bloom overnight, but nurturing them in the dark, knowing that the dark is not a void but a womb. And there will be days when the doubt screams louder than the dream, when the world's noise drowns your own knowing, when your faith feels like a fragile candle in a relentless wind. But do not fear, for it is in precisely those moments that trust is forged, not in comfort, but in surrender, not in certainty, but in willingness. Willingness is the doorway, willingness to be shaped, willingness to be surprised, willingness to let go of the life you plan for the one that is waiting behind the veil of what you think you know. Let go. Let go of needing to feel ready. Let go of needing to be right. Let go of needing all the pieces to be in place before you take the first step. There is no perfect moment. There is only this moment. And the deeper truth that you were born to live it fully, not from fear, but from trust. And that trust once chosen will rearrange your life in ways your mind cannot orchestrate. People will appear not as coincidences, but as confirmations. Doors will open not because you forced them, but because your energy aligned with the unseen frequency of grace. Circumstances will begin to reflect your internal shift, not because the world changes first, but because you do. This is not mysticism. This is not magic. This is alignment. This is the sacred science of being. And it begins with one quiet decision repeated each day, sometimes each breath. I choose trust, not because it is easy, not because I understand, but because there is something in me older than my doubt, wiser than my wounds, truer than my fear. And that something is what I truly am. Not the thoughts, not the name, not the story, but the awareness that watches it all, holds it all, blesses it all. You are not the seeker. You are what is being sought. You are not the question. You are the presence behind every answer. And when you trust what you cannot see, you step into the rhythm of that truth. You begin to dance with life, as it truly is not a problem to solve, but a mystery to live, not a mountain to conquer, but a temple to inhabit. Then let this final turning of the page be not an ending, but a soft returning to yourself, to your source, to the vastness within you that no word has ever captured and no fear has ever touched. Let it be the moment where all the threads of doubt, of longing, of faith, of forgetting are gently woven together into the quiet realization that you were never walking towards something. You were walking with something all along. There is a sacred rhythm to your breath now, steady and unhurried, like waves upon an eternal shore. You no longer chase what you trust. You no longer beg for what you already are. And that longing, the aching cry that once echoed through your soul like a question unanswered, is no longer a cry of emptiness. It has become a hymn of remembrance. You remember now, not as thought but as essence. You remember not with your mind, but with your being, that you are not here to survive this life, nor to impress it, nor to explain it. You are here to embody the unseen, to be the bridge between the visible and the invisible, between form and formless, between the voice that trembles and the silence that holds it. And what once felt like obstacles now feel like sacred thresholds. The pain you feared to feel is no longer a threat. It is a door. The unknown you resisted is no longer a void. It is your home. The trust you once postponed is no longer a gamble. It is your ground. You have learned not by gaining but by shedding, not by climbing higher but by falling inward. You have discovered that the real light is not at the end of the tunnel. It is the fire you carry within. And in trusting it, you have become your own illumination. So now move forward not with urgency but with grace, not with a need to prove but with the quiet certainty that you are carried, that the unseen is not only around you, it is you, that the path is not out there. It is here, rising from within your feet, unfolding from your trust, glowing from your presence. And when fear whispers again, as it will when the world offers you glitter in place of gold, when the voices of doubt return to question your direction, pause, breathe. Remember, you are not here to see it all before you believe. You are here to believe and thus to see. You are here to walk by faith, not because you are blind, but because your vision is deeper than what sight can reveal. And in this, you are not alone. The same force that opens flowers in the dark, that spins planets in perfect silence, that cradles the ocean without hands, that forces with you now as breath, as being, as love that has no opposite, no end. You are not here to wait for the light. You are the light. You are not here to chase the divine. You are the divine awakening to itself. So rest, dear soul, not in idleness, but in knowing. Rest not because the journey is over, but because the inner war has ended. The resistance, the running, the reaching, they have fallen away like leaves returning to the earth. And what remains is enough. What remains is real. What remains is you still sacred, whole, trusting not what is visible, but what is eternal. And that trust will carry you the rest of the way home. There is a sacred intelligence that weaves through all things, a silent whisper beneath the noise, a stillness deeper than thought, a presence so vast and yet so intimate. It knows the rhythm of your breath before you take it. And in the quiet moments when the world no longer demands your attention and the masks you wear fall softly to the floor, that presence begins to speak. Not with words, but with a knowing, not with volume, but with depth. You are guided even in silence. There is no accident in your being here. Not in this moment, not in this life, not on this winding path that sometimes feels shrouded and missed. You did not come here to be lost. You came here to remember that your soul is never adrift, even when your mind cannot make sense of the unfolding. You came not to prove your worth, but to feel it deeply, undeniably within every cell of your being. You are not a mistake wrapped in flesh. You are a divine orchestration of the universe itself unfolding exactly as you must. And yet, how often we forget. We look outward for signs, for validation, for confirmation that we are on the right path, unaware that the compass has always been internal. We ask the world for answers that only our own stillness can reveal. But let me tell you this, the silence you fear is not empty. It is full of guidance, full of grace, full of the soft pull of your own becoming. The Tao teaches that the highest good is like water. It nourishes all things without trying. So too does your soul guide you without demand. It does not push, it does not shout, it does not fight for attention. It waits in the hush between breaths, in the pause before your next thought, in the moment you surrender your striving and simply listen, not with your ears, but with your being. You are guided even when you cannot see the way. Especially then, for what is guidance if not a deep trust that life is unfolding for you, not to you? What is faith if not surrendering the need to control what was never yours to direct? There is no map for awakening, no blueprint for spiritual return. There is only the invitation to be present with what is fully, vulnerably, and without resistance. This is the paradox of the past. The more you try to force your way toward clarity, the more you obscure it. It is not through effort that the fog lifts, but through trust. Trust that the ground beneath your feet is holy, even when it feels unstable. Trust that every detour is sacred. Trust that even the silence is a form of speech, and even the stillness is motion. The ego will tell you that you must do more, become more, fix more. But the soul whispers, you are already it. You are already home. Your only task is to remember. And in that remembering, the noise begins to soften. The fear begins to dissolve. The need to compare, to compete, to chase begins to fall away like leaves at the end of a season. Do not be fooled by the stillness. Do not interpret silence as absence. When nothing seems to be happening, everything is happening beneath the surface. Seeds take root in darkness. Stars are born in silence. And the deepest transformations occur not in the noise of becoming, but in the surrender of being. You were never abandoned. You have never been without guidance. Even in your loneliest moments, the presence has been there softly, patiently, lovingly leading you back to yourself. You may call it God. You may call it spirit. You may call it the universe or source or simply love. It matters not. The name, for the essence is the same. It is the sacred intelligence that paints the sky at dusk, that turns caterpillars into butterflies, that beats your heart without your instruction. And that same intelligence lives in you as you, guiding you, even when your eyes are too full of tears to see it. The spiritual path is not a ladder you climb. It is a spiral staircase inward. Each moment of pain is not punishment. It is passage. Each moment of confusion is not a failure. It is a doorway, and each silence is not void. It is full of the divine waiting for your attention. Do not resist the quiet. Step into it. Let it wash over you like a warm tide, cleansing you of all the noise you thought was necessary to be enough. In the words of Rumi, there is a voice that doesn't use words. Listen, that voice has always been within you. Beneath the commentary, beneath the identity, beneath the truth, it is the voice of love. It is the voice that says, you are not broken. You never were. You are not lost. You are becoming. You may not always feel this guidance as a clear sign. Sometimes it is just a nudge, a sensation of peace that cannot be explained. And other times it is only in hindsight that you will see how beautifully life was leading you all along. The detour that brought you to the right door, the heartbreak that opened you to deeper love, the silence that allowed your true voice to rise. This is a sacred paradox. You are being guided even when you feel most alone. You are being led even when the path disappears beneath your feet. Because the path is not out there. It is within. The light you seek is not at the end of some long road. It is the flame within you, steady, eternal, untouched by time or trauma. So pause, breathe, let the noise of the world dissolve into the background and come home to the sanctuary of your soul. Let yourself be held by the silence. Let yourself be healed by the stillness. You don't need to be anything more. You don't need to go anywhere else. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not broken. You are held. You are loved. You are guided even in silence, especially in silence, because the soul does not speak in volume. It speaks in vibration, in resonance, in presence. It speaks not to the mind, but to the heart. And if you quiet the noise long enough, you will feel it again. That ancient knowing, that sacred memory, that truth you've always carried. I am not alone. I am not forgotten. I am on the path. Even when I cannot see it, I am on the path. And that is enough. Let that be your truth. Today, you are guided, even in silence, always. And as you sit in the sanctuary of this moment, notice what begins to emerge when you release the need to name, to label, to understand. There is a sacredness in not knowing, in allowing the mystery to be the teacher, in bowing to the infinite intelligence that guides without explanation. The caterpillar does not analyze the mechanics of metamorphosis. It simply dissolves, trusting that the wings will come. So too must we learn to dissolve not into despair, but into trust. Trust is not passive. It is not a resignation. It is a fierce, unwavering affirmation that even when you cannot see the shore, the current knows the way. It is the soul's steady gaze beyond the waves of emotion, beyond the doubt, beyond the transient shadows of fear. And when you live in trust, life ceases to be a series of problems to solve and becomes a rhythm to move with a sacred dance choreographed by the same hands that orchestrate the stars. You do not have to force alignment. You return to it. Just as a river always returns to the ocean, so too does your soul always find its way back to source. It may meander, it may stumble, it may slow to a trickle, but the pull is inevitable. That pull you feel when you are still. That gentle ache in your chest that arises not from pain but from remembering this is your compass. Follow it not with logic but with reverence. The world will often ask you to explain yourself, to justify your joy, to defend your peace. But your peace needs no defense. It is the natural state of your being, buried beneath layers of conditioning and noise. You don't need to become peaceful. You need only to stop waging war on the present moment. Every time you surrender the need to control, you unclench the fist of the ego and open the palm of your spirit. And what you will find in that open palm is not weakness, but unimaginable strength. The kind of strength that bends like the willow and never breaks. The kind of strength that chooses love over fear. Softness over armor, stillness over noise. This is not the strength the world rewards, but it is the strength that sets you free. Freedom, true freedom, is not the ability to do whatever you want. It is the ability to be fully yourself unapologetically and unafraid in a world that is constantly trying to shape you. It is standing in your truth when it trembles. It is speaking from your soul when the world only hears volume. It is walking through the fire of doubt and emerging with a heart that still chooses to open. And make no mistake, your heart will be tested, not because life is cruel, but because love wants to stretch itself through you. Each crack in your armor is an opening for the light to enter. Each moment you are brought to your knees is an invitation to rise not with resistance, but with reverence. You are not meant to go around the pain. You are meant to walk through it with presence, to gather the wisdom hidden in its ashes. There is no lesson that arrives empty. Each one is wrapped in a sacred silence, asking only that you unwrap it with care. Do not rush the lesson. Do not demand it arrive on your timeline. Some truths take seasons to bloom. Some awakenings arrive not as thunderclaps, but as whispers carried on the wind. And yet, even when you can't hear them, even when you feel abandoned or unseen, the guidance continues like the moon pulling the tides. The unseen forces of love and grace move you forward. You may feel still, but you are growing. You may feel lost, but you are being repositioned. You may feel broken, but you are being broken open, not apart. There is a divine choreography at play here, far beyond the reach of human understanding. And your role is not to master it, but to move with it, to trust the rhythm, to surrender the need for perfection, to live in tune with the deeper melody that plays beneath the visible. This melody has no lyrics, and yet it speaks. It calls you back again and again to the truth of who you are. You are not here to survive the day. You are here to remember the eternal. You are not here to echo the noise. You are here to become the silence that holds it. You are not here to chase the light. You are here to remember. You have always been it. Let this knowing take root in you. Let it rise not as a thought, but as a felt sense, a frequency, a remembering not of something you learned, but of something you've always known. When all else falls away, when the structures crumble, when the definitions dissolve, what remains? Presence, truth, love. And in that holy trio, you find the most sacred guidance of all. Not a direction, but a destination within. Not a map, but a homecoming. You are being guided, beloved soul, not to somewhere else, but deeper into yourself. The journey is inward, and inward is infinite. And when you finally rest in that sacred inwardness, when the clamor of expectations fades into the background like distant thunder, you will begin to feel something ancient rising, not new, but newly remembered. It is the essence of who you are beneath every mask you've worn, every role you've played, every wound you've mistaken for identity. There is a holiness in this unveiling, a kind of quiet exaltation that requires no witness, no celebration, only your presence. It is the moment the seed knows it is not separate from the forest. The moment the wave surrenders its edge and remembers it has always been the sea. You've been taught to chase your destiny as if it were somewhere outside of you, hidden in achievements, waiting in approval, buried in the applause of others. But the truth is far less dramatic and infinitely more miraculous. Your destiny is not out there. It is right here in the breath you are taking, in the sensation of being alive, in the sacred stillness that has carried you through storms you thought would break you. You are not meant to find your purpose in some far-off place. You are meant to be your purpose wherever you are. And this being is not passive. It is the most active, courageous thing you can do in a